Hi everyone, Natasha here, and around my home today I thought I would go through my November layout in my bullet journal. And if this is your first time joining me, feel free to click the subscribe button below if you'd like to see more of my bullet journaling videos. I'm a working mom and have a couple of home-based businesses as well as working outside the home part-time. And so this is my version of a bullet journal in order to keep things organized, give me a little bit of sanity and creative outlet, but also I have limited time. So this is what I'm able to do and what works for me. So we'll start out and flip over to what I wanted to show you first, which is in the last couple of pages of my October daily and weekly pages. I decided to try doing a monthly review. So I'm going to give this a shot this month. I'll sit down and fill this out in a few days. So I have what worked, ways to improve, I am proud of, and next month. So I will take a look and give that some thought. I thought that would be nice to try doing a monthly review. I've never done that before. Okay. Also, just as a note, all of the supplies listed below in the description box, and you can see here on the counter with me. And then we're going to jump up to the last day of the week prior to November. So how I had mine laid out is I do a weekly spread, then I do the 7 days following it from Sunday to Saturday, and I'm always left with a blank page on the right after my Saturday. And I decided to go ahead and keep the first couple of days of November in with my October pages, and that left this page at the end, which is starting off the month of November in my bullet journal. So this is from the Boho Berry box. It's a gratitude tracker or spread. And I haven't ever done one of these where it's laid out in a sunburst pattern. So I thought this would be a good month to give that a try. So it was exciting to get that sticker and try that out this month. I did a little bit of rendering and coloring there just for fun. So again, there's my creative outlet. That's how much time I have. All right, and then we'll get started and go to our November monthly layout. And this is not my best lettering, not my most creative. I tried, but what can I say? This is what I do. I'm not an expert at it, but so I still do my usual monthly layout, which is I have the weekend boxes a little bit wider since I tend to have more events on the weekend. I use the Louise Hay Colors and Numbers book to determine my monthly number, which for me the month of November is a 3 month, which is enjoyment. And then I also take that down to the day, and so it's kind of hard to see, but I have the yellow numbers on the side of each day there, which are my personal day numbers for each day through the month of November. And then I use the Fly Lady system just to keep up with the house and cleaning and organizing. So I have the weeks numbered on the side just to remind me which zone I'm in as far as cleaning and focused cleaning each week. One update I should mention is I have started using these Post-it brand sticky tabs. I like using these because they're removable, but they do stick pretty well, so I haven't had any trouble with them coming off. So I'm using the green here for my monthly tabs. So I went through, I don't know if you can see that, and added some of them at the beginning, and then like this is November, this one is October, and then the first two were just my yearly layouts and some of my yearly planning pages. And then I also wanted to try being able to flip a little faster to each of my weekly spreads, because I was finding in October I knew exactly which week I was trying to get to, the second, third, fourth week in October, but I kind of had to flip around through my pages since I do set my pages up ahead of time. So I just took these little Post-it tabs. They're the small ones, and they're only sticky about this much. So I actually cut it off and then just folded it in half and used that as a little tab that I created, so you can kind of see I did some colors up here for October, and then these are my November ones. So You can see like November starts here and then they go down, and I have the October ones going above that. So far that has been working really well, and I like being able to quickly flip through to each week, especially as I'm doing future planning. You know, we get the school calendar or notices sent home and events come up in our community, and it's just nice to be able to go through and quickly add those not only to my monthly calendar but then to the weekly spread as well. And then my daily pages I tend to fill out just within, you know, a day or two prior, so I'm not necessarily needing to flip that, you know, to each of those that far out in advance. So anyway, the only other thing I added is my moon phases. You can see that's on there as well. I was, well, I'll jump ahead here and then I'll talk about the moon phases and the affirmations. So this is my monthly goals page, and I go through each month and just determine a few goals in each category. I was trying to be creative, and so I used I know that's hard to see, it's a stencil from the Boho Berry box of her mandala, which is beautiful. I love this. I thought this was a great idea to include it in the box. I tried doing it kind of as a watermark here. I'm not sure if it really worked, especially because in my current journal the pages do a lot of ghosting, so I don't know. I wasn't as happy with how that turned out, but it was a good thought anyway. So this is my monthly page for my personal month of November. So you can see again in that Louise Hay system, it's a number 3 month for me, and this is a great affirmation. I love life and the joy of living, and the key word is enjoyment, so I thought that was really appropriate as we're leading up to Thanksgiving here in the US and just the holiday season in general. And then we get into my first weekly spread. So I've kept the same layout. The only thing that I changed, which was actually an accident, is I just, for whatever reason, wrote errands in here first. Normally I was writing tasks. But I've decided I kind of like that, and we'll see how this first week goes, and then I'll decide if I want to keep it up for the following weeks. But what I liked about it is that it made tasks move over here next to my home blessings, and it actually made more sense once I started jotting a few things down, because essentially a lot of my tasks are either things that occur more than one day a week, so then they would go on the left side with my home blessings, or they're once a week, it doesn't matter which day, and then they can go on the right side. And that kind of keeps all of my tasks and to-do items together in that one section. And then errands are, you know, when I'm out and about, it's easier for some reason, just for my brain, to be able to just quickly flip over and look at this outside edge and see what are the places that I need to stop today while I'm out running errands. And I just add my lunch and dinner, and I'll go through and add the weather. I like to do that couple days before the week starts, just to see, you know, a quick overview, especially if we're packing lunches, or we always get my daughter's school clothes set up for the week ahead of time, so that's an easy way to just see what's coming up as far as weather goes. And I just wrote in our usual trash and recycling pickup days, and just a reminder that it is Zone 2 kitchen. And then I also added these stickers, which again are from the Boho Berry box, and I just thought that was a nice way to add in that element of gratitude. I have not been doing as good about being consistent and writing in my gratitude journal. I do have a separate journal for that, but I thought, well, this might get me back in the habit of it a little bit more easily, because it'll be on this weekly page. And then I go into my dailies. So if you saw a few videos back, a few months prior, I was doing the affirmations. Last month I decided not to write in the affirmations for the day, the personal day, or the moon phase affirmation, because I found I wasn't using them as much as I thought I would, and it was just turning into a chore, and I thought, well, that's not the point of it. So so I've been okay with not having that written out. What I realized is I actually have it kind of memorized. I've been doing that system for so long that most of the days I kind of know what the focus is for that day, or what the affirmation is essentially about. So I think that's why it was feeling redundant to actually write it out, because once I know, if I just have it in my monthly spread, that helps me know what what the focus is for that day or what might be happening that day, and just kind of how things fall into place. So I did like how I did it in October, where I laid out the entire month down to the daily pages ahead of time. That really has been working out well, because it gives me the time during the month to just focus on planning instead of setting up everything. And I've even been looking at possibly switching over to a pre-printed planner. And as soon as I think I want to do it, then I start thinking about just all of the random lists or trackers or planning pages that I think of that I just like being able to flip to. I always have this last page in my weekly layouts or in my dailies where I know I have a blank page for that. I have the problem of I really like having Friday and Saturday and Sunday as a separate full day and as much space as the rest of the days, and most pre-printed planners that I've seen don't have that. They often combine the weekend days into smaller days, and that's what just doesn't work for me. So I'm sticking with my bullet journal for that reason. I like that I can customize it, I can make it work for me. And I think I've found a pretty good system where it's a quick and easy layout. I don't spend a lot of time with this. It gives me just a little bit of creativity. And then most importantly, it allows me to plan quickly and keep an eye on what's coming up. And so you can see I've went all the way to the end of the month, and that included the last day of December. And I counted out my pages, and I should be fine to finish out my the year basically in this bullet journal. I think I'll have enough pages for December as well. So I'm going to stick with my plan here with the bullet journal. I'm going to keep doing my setup like I've been doing it. If you're new, what I usually do is after I've completed my day, usually it's the next day or sometimes even 2 days out, after I've written in my schedule over here, any to-do items. If there's a lot of to-do items and they flow over to this side, that's fine. Essentially the top third or even the top half is all of my tasks and appointments for that day. Then I will just jot some notes down at the bottom, and it's essentially a chance for me to do a bit of journaling. And I really like doing that. It's given me back that sense of being able to journal without making it a big deal. It's just a quick, easy thing. Sometimes it's just bullet points, sometimes it's sentences and paragraph form, but giving myself a day, a page per day, and knowing that that space is there for that purpose has really worked out well. And I'm excited to know that I'll have a journal now for the last quarter of this year that'll have all those journaling pages in it. And it's just nice to be able to go back and see what was going on and how life was going. So I think that's everything. Mostly for layouts, I used my microns this time around, and I'm kind of switching to using a micron even for filling out my daily pages. I was just finding that I like the fact that the friction pens are erasable. That's still kind of my go-to, but I'm starting to feel like I want a little more contrast. The friction ink is just not quite as sharp as something that's more permanent, like the microns or the Pitt Artist pens. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna totally switch, but you can see like this is written in the erasable pen. This is not, and you can just see how there's that, it's a little bit fainter of a black ink, and I don't know, I'm just kind of wanting more contrast. And I do think I'm going to switch to a different type of journal for my next one, but that's down the road. So for now, that is my November layout. I also used some of the mild liners for the colors, so the brown and the gold here, they're both from this mild liner set, so I'll link that down below. And thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comments below if you bullet journal and have your November setup finished already. I'm actually kind of anxious to get started on November. It seems like October's flying by, but I'm ready for the holidays to get here, so I'm looking forward to getting into November and thinking that everything is that much closer. So anyway, thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.